Have the winter coat ready to go tomorrow as you head out the door in the Northeast. Cooler, drier conditions are moving into the region. Good evening and welcome to Weather Center, sponsored by the American Express card. I'm Sharon Resultan.
And I'm Mike Seidel. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Rain and snow are causing problems for spots in the west. A few areas saw snow for the first time in a quarter of a century today. Let's take a look at those snowflakes as they were coming down here in Visalia, California, just southeast of Fresno. A rare event, and not often can you make snowballs and throw them around Bakersfield, making the snowman, kids out of school, but not great for traveling along the Grapevine. The I-5 corridor for a while was shut down. 100 miles of that was shut down. It's open tonight, and all the rain has changed, or rather the snow has changed to rain, but unprecedented in Bakersfield. This is something you can tell your grandchildren about because it may not happen for another generation. 3 inches of snow accumulated, and as you can see, historically, we've only seen 2 other measurable snowfalls. Now, you had some flurries, I believe, back in 1990, but as far as the ground getting wet, you have to go back to 1974. That is a long time ago, let me tell you. I was a senior in high school. Let's talk about those storms on the west coast. Check your radars and show you how much more snow is expected. We've got one spin here. Here comes the next spin, and you can see the rotation, and that's following that jet stream flow right along the California coast. And that is the reason we had the snow today. It was just cold enough at the surface down to around freezing to let it fall as snow and not rain. But shortly after the sun came up and temperatures warmed up, you didn't actually see the sun. Shortly after daylight, temperatures got back into the mid-30s where they're sitting right now, and it's raining and not snowing in Fresno. And you may get a little bit of rain overnight in Bakersfield. There's the rain in Fresno and the San Joaquin Valley working down the I-5 corridor, and this is the area which was shut down earlier today, but again, it has reopened. If you're traveling into the Southland tonight, nothing is in the way of pretty decent commute, although chilly temperatures. And again, that next storm we showed you north of the Bay Area will impact your travel in Los Angeles for the commute tomorrow evening. Tomorrow morning will be okay. And you can see the rain gyrating up towards Vegas and up through the Colorado River. We had some earlier rain around San Diego, a few showers now off the coast from La Jolla. Most of that has dampened out, and the basin looks okay at this point. Now, as we move off to the east, showers now moving towards Phoenix, so you'll get at least a little bit of rain overnight. Shouldn't have a major problem, and certainly no snowfall in Phoenix like you saw in Bakersfield. But if you are a skier, look at this. Check this out. This is what we're expecting just through mid-morning Tuesday. And remember, some of you have already had over 7 feet of snow up around Lake Tahoe. So the snowpack is building up. That's good. When we get into the springtime, that all melts and helps to fill up those reservoirs with the drinking water we need during the dry season, which kicks in just a couple of months. So good news all around for skiers and for those of us who have to deal with water restrictions come June, July, and August. Well, there's been some snow back east, nothing like we saw in the west today. Let's get the update now with Sharon.
That's right, Mike. It's been a nasty day across parts of the Northeast. A cold rain for some, and, well, some of you saw some falling snow. But tonight, the wet weather has moved out, and it's being replaced by, well, cloudless skies for much of the region. There will be a few areas where some of those clouds will linger, but for the most of you, expect clearing to some extent. And because a cooler and somewhat drier air mass is moving on in, you can also expect to find some cooler temperatures come morning. I wanted you to focus your attention on some of these clouds. There is a disturbance well up into Canada that will slide a few clouds into northern sections of New York State, and that could mean a couple of inches of snow in and around the Adirondacks. But again, nothing that's going to affect you around Boston or New York City. You're looking forward to a dry night and, even more importantly, a dry morning commute. Can't ask for more than that. Let's go ahead and take a peek first at temperatures. 34 around the Boston area, checking in with 36 around New York. Winds are going to lighten up overnight, but there's still a little bit of a gradient, and it feels like 22 in Boston, a wind chill of 21 currently around New York City. And there's our big area of high pressure. Around it, well, we're going to find some wonderful clear skies for most of you, still dealing with just a few light snow showers or flurries across northeastern Ohio. Could find some patchy drizzle even into northwestern Pennsylvania. This is the area that I'm talking about, and we're just going to watch that very closely. We've had reports of some slick conditions in northeastern Ohio, but this should be winding down, and not really expecting any accumulation from that, just a little bit of a dusting. All right, there's a look at temperatures in the upper Midwest. this is where the coldest air is. 5 degrees right now around Minneapolis, St. Paul. Factor in the winds, it feels like 2 above, 12 below in Fargo. Feels like 22 right now in and around Chicago. As we head into the southeast, it's relatively tranquil, and to the south of this front, much, much warmer. Look at what a mild day folks in New Orleans enjoyed. What a beautiful day. The sun was shining bright, and just a great day to be out and about in Audubon Park. Temperatures were into the 70s this afternoon. All in all, not a bad day for January. That's to the south of the front, where you saw a lot of warmth. Lots of 60s and 70s, 77 in Houston, 71 in New Orleans. That's a look at what's happening across the eastern part of the nation. A little more sloppy out to the west, and Mike is going to explain why.
Let's talk about that steering flow. We talked about the jet stream a little bit earlier, Sharon, and the big dip means a lot of cold air loft, a lot of instability, and that's why we had the snow today in Bakersfield and Fresno. Well, that first system is going to kind of kick out and weaken, and you can see there's not much of a dip here in these lines as the wind flow continues in the southwest. That's why it's going to stay warm in the southeast and along the Gulf Coast. Meanwhile, a new storm moves in, a new trough. That's the one that was spinning off the coast of Northern California. And as that moves in, that will produce, yes, more rain and more snowfall. But the rain and snow will occur primarily in northern and central California overnight and tomorrow morning. And the showers will move south towards the basin in the afternoon. And again, if you're traveling up through Bakersfield and Fresno on I-5, we don't expect any problems. Temperatures will be a little too warm this time for the snowfall. And if you're a skier, look at this, plenty of snow in the west. But back east, it is going to be a pretty decent day. Let's get that forecast first for New York, and then we'll move it to the west coast. Here's Sharon.
All right, let's take a look at New York City, and you're going to find plenty of sunshine for that morning commute. Temperatures crisp, but not too cool. 30 degrees, could be a lot cooler this time of the year. 25 heading into Boston. I mentioned those clouds that are going to be sweeping across northern New York State, and that will mean a few snow showers in that region as we head toward the morning commute hour. In the southeast, no problems across most of the southeast. The only thing we can think of would be the fog from just west of New Orleans, back through Lake Charles, extending down toward Houston. You're likely to find some foggy travel. And just don't forget to use the low beam headlights and take it a little bit slower. Minneapolis, bottoming out around 10 degrees or so. By the time you have your morning commute, you'll have a reading around 10, 18 heading into Chicago. So plenty of cold air in the northern plains and upper Midwest. And continued pretty cold and pretty wet as we head into portions of the west. Look at that Reno at 24 with some snow expected there. Quick peek at your overnight lows, and we'll head through the day on Tuesday. And again, you're going to find right on into the afternoon more wet weather out to the west. Tallies of rainfall don't add up to much, but the snow sure will in the higher elevations, much to the delight of the skiers and to the delight of beachgoers in the Gulf Coast region. Lots of warmth there. Beautiful.
Nice weather. Next up, we'll find out if your morning commute will be just as nice. Stay tuned.
I'll be right back.
This program was sponsored by the American Express card.